What's up? I think we're live. Let us know if you can hear us. Let me turn my volume off so we don't have duplicate things. Hello, everybody, from our orange office in beautiful Centennial, Colorado. Friendly reminder, if you are ever in the Colorado area, whether you live here, are just adventuring here, or you're just here for the weed, I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, come on out, say hello. We'd love to see you in the office and swing on by and learn more about you and your business. So hey, if you guys don't know me, I'm Caleb, also known as The Book Flipper. This is my business partner, Matthew.
Hey guys.
Also known as...
Do I have an alias?
I thought it was Bacon Books.
Bacon Books?
Yeah, we're still working on a name for Matthew. Yeah, right now he's just Matthew Osborne. So we're excited to be here. We do live webinars monthly, sometimes more often, sometimes less often. It just depends on when we're on the road and what's going on. So if you have questions, drop those. We are dual streaming, tri-streaming, quad streaming. I think it's
something
just two.
Like that too.
We're on YouTube Live in the Facebook group, which just passed 10,000 members, by the way. So we're doing a little celebration for that. And we're also on YouTube Live. So if you are in either place, drop us a line, say hello, let us know where you're from. And if you have questions, we're going to get to those. So we have just a few slides Matthew's put together. We're going to explain some stuff that's going on in our community and some ways that you can get access to us. We're going to be traveling a bit, coming to some other cities and hoping to meet up with some of you face to face. Quick shout out to Bobby Flippin' Finn on Instagram. Bobby's a great dude. We were hanging out in Boston last week. He came over and helped with a small book deal we were working on. Super cool guy. If you guys aren't following him on Instagram, free shout out to Bobby Flippin' Finn, 2 N's, Finn. Awesome guy. He's kind of like a Huck Finn. He's got a great little book selling journey going as well. So if you're in the area, again in Denver, look us up. And Matthew, we'll turn it over to you.
Yeah. So let's go into, you got 10,000 member giveaway here. So
10,000.
I know.
More excitement.
Look at
Come
that.
on. More excitement.
10,000 for the Facebook group. We crossed that threshold. I think it was last week we crossed that. So thank you everyone that helped contribute to that. If you guys remember, I think it was about a month and a half ago, we started a giveaway where if you guys become affiliates and you refer people over to the Facebook page and help us get to that 10,000 member mark, we're going to do a giveaway, and some of the things included in that giveaway, let me throw that up here, was 3 months free of Scout IQ, one of those limited edition Just Scan It t-shirts. We've got an Opticon 2002 in there. We've got a Scotty peeler. It's not the one listed there though. It's actually a blue one that has the Scout IQ logo on it. And then a free membership to Book Flipper University. And we picked through everyone that became an affiliate and referred at least one person over to the Facebook group. We did a random drawing of all of those people. And you want to say who won?
And the winner is, drum roll, Stephen Cardia, I'm guessing. Yeah. Stephen, we'll be reaching out to you, getting your address, and sending you a lovely bundle of awesome things, and we'll make sure to hook you up with your discounts on the subscription as well.
Yep. Yeah, hopefully you're watching this, but if you're not, I'll reach out to you personally and get your address and everything to get all of those winnings over to you. So congratulations, and thank you for helping to refer people over to the community.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
Growing this community. Thank you guys also just being a part of this community. It's crazy how much activity is going on in this Facebook group. You guys know it. Someone can put a question and we'll have 50 responses in 10 minutes to their question. So thank you guys for all you contribute to this community and what you guys have made it into. Definitely would not be the same without the 10,000 of you.
No, it would just be us talking to each other, and we have enough of that, trust me. I will say this too, and kind of echoing what Matthew said, just the community is great. I came from a very competitive industry before. I used to be in marketing for medical sales, so hip and knee replacements, trauma products, spine products. And there were 3 companies, not 1, not 2, 3 in the same town. There's only 15,000 people in this small town in Indiana. I see a lot of Indiana people in the Facebook or the YouTube comments. So what's up everybody in Indiana? My old hometown was Warsaw, so kind of north central. And the community, I mean, it was very common to have a husband-wife team that worked on 2 different companies, and they would never talk business with each other. It was extremely competitive. Everybody was trying to be secretive about what they were working on. And we certainly didn't help other people in the community. So it's really neat being in the book space A lot of you share great content. You're helping other people. Technically, we're each other's competitors. Even Matthew and I work together, but we have different Amazon accounts. So if he finds, we actually found out we were both bidding on the same liquidation auction. And I was like, wait a minute, is that your username? He's like, yeah.
Thankfully, we figured that out before we bid each other up and realized we were.
So yeah, there's competition out there, and we help each other. We learn from each other, and it's awesome. So by all means, thank you from the bottom of our heart. We'll give you one of those little heart signs like Taylor Swift does. But we're excited you're here. We're going to answer a lot of questions today. We do have just a couple other comments here on some feature updates if you may not have seen it. The most recent one, I think Matthew's going to throw it up there, is OCR.
Yep.
We just love to throw out acronyms. That's very common in this space. But OCR is optical character recognition. What it allows you to do, I should have brought an example with me, but a lot of books, most books have barcodes on the back. That's what makes it very easy to scan. So you're able to...
Probably have some over there we can grab.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, most books have barcodes. A lot of older books don't, and they'll still have an ISBN written on the back cover or on the back side of the title page. What we did is you can use your phone's camera now, so not your barcode scanner, but you can use your phone's camera to actually just hold it up. It'll read the barcode or the ISBN, the typed out ISBN, really quickly. It's really powerful. Or on the back side of the title page. What this allows you to do is those manual type-ins that you used to have to use voice to text or kind of type those in, you can just use your phone's camera, and that makes things really, really simple. So that's been awesome. We've had that out now for maybe a month, give or take, 3 to 4 weeks.
Close to that. Yeah.
And the feedback's really, really strong. We also have another, so it's 2 features in one. One is reading the ISBN, so the OCR. That works really, really well. There's a couple times where if the ISBN starts with like a 3 or something else, we're working on fixing that. It will be working better. And if there's a little bit of a reflection on the backside of the cover, sometimes your camera struggles to pick that up. So backside of the title page is best, and we've gotten a ton of people reaching out saying, hey, I'm picking up books that I used to just gloss over because it wasn't worth the time to type them in. And we got screenshots of $100 books, $50 books that people are finding using the OCR feature. So that's awesome. That's why we do what we do. We try and make it so you can be a little lazier and still find good books. That's kind of what we're after. The other feature that's included, there's a title search. You got that picture again?
Yeah.
So we can do OCR, and then if over on the right we have title search. That's not perfect. We're going to try and improve that as well. Amazon doesn't make their cover recognition API available to developers, so we can't tap into that because that would be money. So we're actually just reading some titles. It's probably 50% accurate. The ISBN is going to be where that's where you want to spend your time for sure. The title search still leaves a little something to be desired, but it's there, it's helpful, and it's not going to be gospel truth, but if it's working for you, that's awesome. So real quick, we did just hit 10,000 members in the Facebook group. We're excited, glad you're there. YouTube is really close to 8,000. I think we're at 7,900.
Yeah, really close.
So tell your friends, if you haven't yet subscribed, click the subscribe button below. If you're on YouTube and you haven't joined our Facebook group, head on over there, the Book Flipper community. Tons of content going out there, tons of questions and answers, and a lot of really cool people to learn from. So that's pretty sweet. One other thing real quick, just to toot our own horn, but we also have team mode, if you guys have seen that. We've got Cloud Triggers. We're the original company that invented Cloud Triggers, so we're pretty thrilled with that. But cloud-based triggers just mean if you switch phones, if your phone, if you drop it in the toilet, drop it on the concrete like I did last month, the triggers are waiting for you on the cloud. You can replenish them at any time. The other really big benefit of that is team mode. So you're able to set up triggers and push them. So if I wanted to hire Matthew and I say, hey, I don't trust you to read the data, I just want you to go out and scan books for me, I can set that up for him. I can set all the triggers, and I can change it to hidden mode remotely. So I can go on my web portal, app.scoutiq.co. I can go in there, change his triggers, change his profit level, and then turn it to hidden mode or not, and I never have to touch his phone. This has been really cool for us, and again, we've heard of a lot of you with some awesome stories. We've been able to hire scouts in different states, or we land a library deal or something, and we say, hey, I need somebody in Maine real quick. I don't want to fly out there and handle a small deal. Here's the app, log in. They can actually just go right in, and it works really well. So we've been able to do that. If you guys are getting creative, if you find deals out of the state, whether it's liquidation auctions, library sales, estate sales, maybe some big deal that your grandma found for you, make sure you tip her, be nice to grandma. If you can find that, you can set up triggers, give somebody a login to the app, and it's really, really powerful. So that's a way to kind of grow your business. And we've been hearing tons of people reaching out saying thank you. I'm in Texas. I found someone in California to go in for an afternoon and get the books for me. So that's been pretty cool. Matthew's got just a couple other things, a couple other ways that you can see us in the near future. Many of you were at the Chicago event for Turn the Page, and Matthew's going to share just a bit about the next event coming up.
Yeah, so coming up on October 17th, 18th, and 19th in Atlanta, Georgia, there'll be another Turn the Page event. So Thursday, normally people come at nighttime. We have normally like a meet and greet at nighttime. We'll meet up somewhere for dinner. The actual event will be on Friday.
Yep.
But we'll have speakers that come in and we'll talk about different. Is there a main topic for this Turn the Page, or is it kind of?
Nope, it's going to be generic.
Okay.
We kind of do two different topics. One is improving your Amazon business, books specifically, but in general Amazon. And then the second is, I hate it, but the self-help genre. But really, how to set up targets, goals, how to plan your time. Some really valuable things as you're trying to grow your business, whether it's your side hustle or your main thing. So that's kind of the two things that we get into.
Yeah, and that'll be Friday, and then Saturday is more of the fun day. A lot of people go out and they'll play golf or something like that. You can go out and see the city. These are great networking events if you haven't been to one of them before, and also whether you're a small seller or a really big seller, there's everyone that comes to these events, from the brand new people that are a month in to the people that are 7 figures and beyond sometimes. So don't let your size intimidate you when you come to an event like this. It'll be really fun. You get to meet some cool people and hang out there. Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
So use that bit.ly link down there at the bottom. You can type it in bit.ly/TTP all lowercase -Atlanta, and you guys can pick up tickets there for that event. We have roughly 30 available, something like that?
I think we're only going to do 20 to 25. It's going to be a
20,
smaller
25.
event. We're actually going to do the event in the Airbnb unless we have a ton of demand. We've tried to do some bigger events. I think we had 65, 75 people in Vegas. Of course, Vegas is a big draw. That was great. It's a lot of extra effort to find a venue, try and make sure we've got microphones, and kind of do a big production. And that was a lot of fun in Vegas. We've done some smaller events. We did like the basement of a coffee shop in Chicago, that was pretty cool. Atlanta, I think we're going to stick with a smaller size, so 20 to 25 attendees. We've already sold maybe 10 tickets, give or take, so there's not that many left. So if you want to jump on them, do that. We will have a couple of VIP tickets where you can actually stay in the house with the speakers. You'll get your own, your own room.
There's all bunk beds.
Yeah, bunk beds. Everybody pick a bunk. And we don't have any details on that yet. It'll be a couple $100 extra, but the tickets are really reasonable. This is not an expensive conference. You'll spend more on your flights and usually lodging than the tickets. So check out that bit.ly link and join us in Atlanta. And again, it's just a great chance to meet with fellow sellers, hear some of the speakers. I don't have the speaker lineup just yet. We've got a bulk seller in David Chung that's spoken in the past. Reezy Resells has spoken. Rob Knight does a lot of textbooks. I think he'll be there in Atlanta.
Jeff Bezos
still trying to sort that out.
Right?
Jeff has
we
said maybe.
Him. He said maybe.
Said maybe, which probably means maybe not. And we're trying to work on a couple new speakers as well, so stay tuned there. And we usually have an accountant in the house as well. So cool. So post a link. I'll post that here as well, but it's bit.ly/TTP Atlanta. So I'll post that on the YouTube group for those that are asking. Awesome. All right, what else we got?
I got Q&A.
Q&A. All right, real quick. So that's October 16, 17, 18 in Atlanta, whatever that weekend
18th
is.
is a Friday. So
the 18th will be the event. I am flying out tonight to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. I want to get out there and run up the steps just like Rocky. We're going to be doing that. But I'm going to be late tonight, and I should be there all next week. We're actually buying out an old bookstore, courtesy of a lead from somebody in the Facebook group, so don't be sleeping on that. Avery, Romer the Romer on Instagram, if you guys know who he is, Avery Martin will be out there, and we're going to be hanging out and hopefully buying a lot of books from a bookstore. It might be a dud. We'll kind of share that adventure, whether we make a lot of money or waste a trip. We'll find out. But we'll let you know. If you guys are in the Philadelphia area or want to be, look us up. I think this Monday, so 3 days from now. Yep. It's Friday right now. Monday the 6th, I think, August 26th, if you're watching this. We're going to be in Philadelphia, and we should have most of the day free. If you guys want to swing by our Airbnb, we've got some ping pong, foosball. We'll grab some food. Come on over. Maybe we can go hit up some thrift stores together. If you're in the area, drop us a line. Message me on Facebook. You can email me, caleb@thebookflipper.com. That's CALEB @thebookflipper.com. Drop us a note. We'd love. We might put you to work too. So if you want to earn some cash, we might put you to work scanning some books for us. But Philadelphia, look us up there. That's our next trip, and then Atlanta later on. All right. Enough of us yakking. We're going to answer some questions for the next 30 to 40 minutes, and then we'll jump in from there. So if you have questions, drop those in. Looks like we have about 80 to 90 people between the two platforms watching us. So thanks for watching. Hopefully we create some value for you. If you guys have questions, let us know, and we will start answering those. Let me go back up. I know several of you asked some earlier.
I can grab Facebook and grab YouTube. We'll go back and forth.
Cool. All right, we got a couple people saying they love the OCR. The title search is not as great. Yep, we agree. It's a work in progress. But again, if it's helpful half the time, it's helpful to have there. Just don't rely on it as everything. Restricted books. That's a good question. So Scout IQ. Let me back up a step. Unfortunately, there's a handful of books. It's maybe a few thousand titles across the several million books that are out there. These are restricted on Amazon. What happens is there's a lot of counterfeit textbooks, so some of the major textbook companies are kind of saying, nope, we want these to be a gated category called popular textbooks. There's also a generic popular books category that's also restricted, like Love Does. That's a very popular book. There's a couple other books that aren't textbooks that are also commonly restricted for most sellers. So if you guys see that, what we do in the app is we actually, over the thumbnail image in the bottom left of the app, we actually show a little red R that says restricted. That doesn't mean that you're restricted. It means it's a commonly restricted book. If you want to check your account within Scout IQ, you can simply tap the thumbnail icon. You'll have to log in to Seller Central, and then once you do that, it'll keep you logged in, and then you're able to see if you can sell that particular book. So if you have questions, do that. We want to make it, we got to figure out how to do it without scraping. We want to do it where we can actually look up your Amazon account in the background, similar to what Scoutify and maybe Profit Bandit does it. But the way to kind of pop up and show you the restrictions while you're scanning, that would be pretty sweet. So that's something we're looking at. Unfortunately, Amazon doesn't give us that data in the API. So restricted books, if it shows a red R, it doesn't mean you're restricted. It means it's commonly restricted. We're trying to do you a solid and help you out with that. And then, as always, you can tap the thumbnail icon, bring up Seller Central, and show you if you can sell that particular book. Real quick shout out again to Avery, Romer the Romer. He's a good dude. He's actually doing a restricted inventory consignment deal. Yeah. He's using the tracking spreadsheet, so shameless plug there. But he's got it set up. He's actually hiring listers all over the Nashville area, and you can actually send your inventory to him. So if you want more information on that, drop me a line, caleb@thebookflipper.com, and I'll connect you over to Avery. Or reach out to him on Instagram, tell him Caleb sent you, he'll take good care of you. So if you do have inventory that's gone stranded, again, the weird part with Amazon, it's their sandbox, and you can have a great book, $50 textbook, you send it in, they say great, you can send it, it gets to the warehouse, it gets checked in, and then it goes restricted, it goes into stranded. I wish Amazon would tell us that before we send it, but shame on you, Amazon. So if you do have some inventory, you can actually ship that to Avery. You could ship it to me too if you have a lot of inventory. I don't want to deal with onesie twosie, so you can send those to Avery. He'll take care of you, and that's a good consignment option to turn that back into cash, or you can look up Book Scout or something like that.
Yep. So Jesse Carl says, I'm doing bulk and wondering about seeing the FBA and my profits at the same time.
FBA and my profits. Well, if you use Scout IQ,
you should be seeing those at the same time.
Both. So the app will actually show you the target price. It'll be highlighted in orange. Top left will show you the estimated profit, and you can see the FBA offers if there are any in the API in the FBA column. Also, you really want to be looking at the used buy box. That's the most important metric, especially if you're buy box eligible. So that's an option. Many bulk sellers have actually been using an emulator, so you can use like BlueStacks or I think Visor, VYSOR. There's several different emulator software out there where you can actually plug your phone, or sometimes over Wi-Fi, take your phone and mirror it on your computer. If you have an Apple device, you can do it with QuickTime. That's a free app, free piece of software. Android, I think BlueStacks. There's lots of different emulator apps out there. I'm trying to think. There's one I use as well. But there's several. You can just Google emulator apps or free emulator app for Android or for iOS, and then Mac or Windows, whatever you're using.
You can pull it up on there.
That's an option where you can then scan and then see the data on a computer. A lot of people like to be able to do that rather than using a phone. You can also use Scout IQ on an iPad if you want a bigger screen, or any of the tablets out there. It's not optimized for that, but it will work. So I think we answered that question. If not, if you have any follow-up, feel free to do that. Let me see what else we got. Had some people asking about how to get ungated in CDs, DVDs. So I think you guys jumped on that and helped answer it. Basically, you got to find an authorized wholesaler or a distributor of that stuff, and then you have to follow the steps. So for Amazon on DVDs, you got to buy a minimum of 10. MSRP has to be a minimum of 25. You don't have to pay 25, but the MSRP needs to be north of 25. And Amazon has to be accepting applications. So make sure you check with Amazon first. If they are, you can go ahead and click apply and then fill out. Make sure you have a proper invoice.
Yeah.
Upload that, and then wait Amazon's approval. A lot of times they will just auto decline it. I think they just like making people angry. And then you just have to keep submitting it and saying, look, I met the criteria. It's at least 10, MSRP $25. You know, it's coming to my business address. Everything's great. Cool. So that's a way to do that as well. What other questions? We'll go back and forth here.
Bridget says, does the guy come with the shirt?
Are
we including him?
The model?
Yeah, the model.
I don't think we let him out. I think he's locked in the back room, actually.
And then Brad says, can Scout IQ allow scouters to adjust the price in hidden mode? Not currently.
Not currently. Several of you have asked. We'll probably add the buy cost back in because I know that's important. What we do allow is we tried to make it as simple as possible.
It was purposeful, yeah. It was at first purposeful.
We do have a lot of people that work with libraries, and so they set them up with a phone and a scanner, and then we tried to hide everything. If you set it to hidden mode, there's no way to change the triggers, no way to change the buy cost, no way to screw the app up, because we've seen that happen a lot when we've worked with different libraries in the past. So we wanted to keep it, just dumb it down, make it simple. A lot of you have been asking, so maybe we'll add an option where you could turn that on or off, where you could change the buy cost. If you really want a scout to be seeing the data, they can change their triggers at any time. So you can set up $2 triggers or $10 triggers, or you can let them make their own decisions. So that's some options available to you. But we have heard the feedback, and that's something that we'll be looking to address as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, a lot of Indiana-ins, Hoosiers in the house, Arizona. Looking forward to Atlanta. Yep, North Carolina. What's up? Maine, Texas. We got people from all over the country. What other questions we got? Trying to go through here. Anything else on Facebook?
So Bobby says, what textbooks tend to be more likely counterfeit? I'm using eFlip more often and want to avoid this the best I can. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. There's about 1,000 to 1,500 that we know of. Unfortunately, I've signed an NDA. I've worked with some of the publishers to get lists that are commonly counterfeited, but I'm not allowed to share that publicly. Otherwise, I would. I can maybe put you in touch with that publisher. Maybe they're willing to share. But the three common publishers and then all their imprints underneath them are Pearson, Cengage, and McGraw-Hill. And again, those are all the parent companies, and they have a ton of sub-brands underneath them. You can go to Stop Counterfeit Textbooks, I believe. Let me double check that.
I can look it up and post it.
Either Stop Counterfeit Books or StopCounterfeitTextbooks.com. I think it just showed up.
Where did I type in? Probably not one word. StopCounterfeitBooks.com.
Yeah, so StopCounterfeitBooks.com. That'll show you, and I think they actually have some of the...
What to avoid, counterfeit textbook, learn how to identify one.
Look
what
at
to
the
do
about real quick, or resources.
About the publisher.
So they have the publishers there. So there's some things there. It's a great website
I'll
put together by the law firm.
YouTube and Facebook chat.
So we'll throw those out there. You can check out that website. There's not... So again, those three publishers you want to avoid, as well as there's a number of sub-publishers. And a lot of those books are great. There's no issues there. If you guys are concerned about it, the issue is there's test buys going on. So the law firm has set up, they're out of Rockville, Maryland. They're going to buy your books. They're buying periodically, looking for what's going on. They're going to buy a textbook. If there's nothing wrong with it, which is usually the case, they're going to return it, unfortunately, which costs you money. We've been trying to report them to get Amazon to take some action, but I'm pretty sure they're working with Amazon on that one. So best case, you're going to get it returned. Worst case, they can say, hey, it's counterfeit, and then they can get you blocked from those popular textbooks, which I think is what they're really after. There is a problem in the market. They're trying to clean up the market. I get it. But I think they're also trying to kill the used book market because publishers don't really make a whole lot of money on the used book market. That's where we come into play. We're just resellers, but we're helping find textbooks, get them to students at cheaper prices than the bookstore, and that's kind of helping make education, or at least the textbook portion, a bit more affordable. So, what else we got? Any questions there?
Yeah, Michael says, how do you know if you're buy box eligible?
So buy box eligible, go to Seller Central, manage inventory. Up at the top, there's like manage inventory, manage FBA inventory. Just do manage inventory. Up at the top, there's a thing, it's either settings or
icon,
preferences. Click on that, and there's some columns you can show. One of the columns you can highlight to show is buy box eligibility. Turn that on, go back to the page, refresh it, and then it'll actually say buy box eligible and say yes or no in the columns. So that's how to tell. The other option is find a book where you're the cheapest prime price, and go to that actual Amazon page, go in incognito mode so Amazon doesn't know it's you, and then check and see if you are in the buy box. If you are, then you're good to go. So buy box, Amazon usually gives to the lowest prime offer from a reputable seller. So just launched sellers usually don't qualify. If you have really bad metrics, if you have a lot of defect rates or order issues, then they may take that eligibility away. And you do have to be a pro merchant, so you have to pay the $39.99 a month to qualify. Buy box is extremely important. That's where lazy buyers, which is a lot of buyers, they go in, they pull up the book, and they say, hey, there's that little option that says 215 offers starting at $29.99, or there's add to cart new from Amazon, or the new buy box, or used. And it's hard to know, but as much as half maybe of the sales come through the buy box itself. We've talked to a lot of sellers.
It is a big deal to have it.
Sales tend to double if you have access to the buy box. So the buy box is really big. That's how to tell if you have access. If you don't, it's really important to try and get feedback. Let's throw something out there to y'all. I'd love to get your feedback. We've been talking about this a bit. So one of the challenges just starting off is getting feedback. You have to get a few feedback to get past the just launched on your account. So how do you get that? Well, the problem with selling FBA is it takes a bit. If you're not buy box eligible, you're not really going to be getting a ton of sales FBA. It's still possible. One thing we've talked about, and it goes counterintuitive to the lifestyle that I value specifically, but I know Matthew does as well. What do you guys think of this? We'd love to hear your feedback. Comment on the channel here as well. We're thinking of promoting or encouraging new sellers to actually sell merchant fulfilled. This does a couple things. One, it takes away some of the barriers to figuring out listing software, getting a label printer, dealing with split shipments, figuring out how to send it to Amazon. It basically reduces the learning curve to scout, find some books, list them, either with listing software directly through Seller Central, what have you, and leave a pile of books on your shelf, for example. So we're thinking of doing that. The benefit there is merchant fulfilled really competes on price. The buy box is not as big of a deal because that usually goes to prime sellers. So you can compete on price. You can sell stuff the same day. If you have a book that's ranked 5,000, it's a $10 book, $15 book, you can actually sell that same day, take it to the post office. You could feel really good about getting your first sale, which is kind of that dopamine or that hit, if you will. So that's an option. The other benefit of merchant fulfilled, and you got to check all the terms of service on your own, you can actually leave a handwritten note. You're not allowed to feature your own store, your own website. You really shouldn't be leaving contact info. Amazon wants you to promote Amazon. But you can leave a note that says, hey, dear Tim or whoever bought your book, dear Mary, thanks for buying my book. I'm a brand new seller. Would you mind taking just a minute to leave feedback on my account? That will really help other sellers know they can trust me.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to convince them or try and persuade them to leave you positive feedback.
You can't give them things in return for feedback.
Yep. Can't bribe them. Can't give them a gift card. But just a handwritten note saying, hey, I'm a small business, small seller, trying to grow my account. It would mean the world if you could take just a moment to leave a review, not a review, but feedback on my account. You can even give them a link. Of course, you're going to be typing that out, so it's not as great. But I think that goes a long way to helping people, because if I get a note in the mail, like I usually don't leave feedback on Amazon. It's not eBay. But if someone actually took the time to write me a note and said, hey, I'm brand new, you better believe I'm going to take 2 minutes out of my day to go try and help them out.
And I think if it's printed like an invoice, people just throw it away and probably won't read it. So handwritten really probably will get, I'm sure, more responses than something that's just printed out on paper.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm curious, for those of you that have been selling for a while, do you think it would have helped you to start out merchant fulfilled, even for just a couple weeks, to get that sale a lot quicker, to post things instantly, and also have a lot less fees to go along with it? Let us know in the comments if you think that would have helped you getting started out. We did a poll a little while ago that asked people what was their aha moment that made them stick to selling on Amazon, and everyone pretty much said when they saw their first sale come in on Amazon. So the faster people can get that first sale, the more likely they are probably to stick with selling on Amazon. So curious to hear you guys' thoughts on that.
Yeah, let us know. Are we crazy, or is this actually a good idea to try and help sellers? Of course, once you're up and running, once you get some feedback, I think doing merchant fulfilled and running orders to the post office every day makes you really appreciate FBA, and then you're willing to push through that learning curve. Again, there's not too much complexity in this business, but it is a lot to soak in. Trying to get set up with Amazon, figuring out the API setup, getting an app, figuring out how to list. There's a lot of pieces. So if we can simplify that, I think that's really going to help. So let us know. Is that a crazy idea to encourage merchant fulfilled right out of the gate and then switch over depending on if that makes sense or not? Let us know. We also have some other questions. Here's one. Do you guys happen to know the legality of finding stuff in books? Assuming if you buy it and have a receipt, then the contents are yours. I think so. Depends on what you're finding.
So. If it's illegal, probably not. But if you're finding cash in your books.
Yeah, are you finding cocaine in books?
Or cash. There's a big difference there. But
I have seen people that find cash, like several thousand, and actually found like the old owner's name in it. Like they happened to donate it, and they were able to track down the owner and give it back. That's pretty cool. I'm not really a big believer in karma or anything, but that is the right thing to do if you can find the owner. But I think if you bought it, it's yours.
I wouldn't recommend storing your cash in books,
no.
But whatever works.
Actually, I'll post this on Instagram at the Book Flipper if you don't follow me already. But someone actually messaged me yesterday. They were, I think, in a thrift store, found a book, and it's one of those books that you open it up and it's got a safe in there, so the pages are kind of hollowed out. And they opened it up and there was jewelry inside, like diamonds, gold, silver. So they took it into a jewelry shop and said, hey, can you check it out? Well, some of it was cubic zirconium, some of it was actual diamonds, and some of it was actual gold, silver. So they said it's probably worth a little over $1,000. The guy there was going to offer him $300 on the spot, so he's going to kind of check it out more. So yeah, you find stuff in books. At that point, it's been donated, unless there's names on the jewelry, names in the book.
Yeah, you're not finding that person.
You're probably not, and if you posted that on Instagram or on Craigslist and said, hey, I found jewelry in a book, is it yours? You're going to get a lot of people saying, yeah, it's mine. So I think it's yours. We're not lawyers, we're not accountants, but I think if you find it, it's yours. So again, if you found really cool stuff in books, let us know.
Yeah, post it in the group. Curious to see what people are finding in there.
I finally found cash. Avery and I, we were in Tennessee. We found cash. I think it was $6. So we were rich. We're ready to retire. But finally found cash. I see a lot of you posting photos about that all the time. I always page through the books when we're listing just to get a quick condition, and also fingers crossed cash will come out. But have you found cash?
I haven't found cash, but I found vows. Someone's vows from their
wedding vows?
Yeah, their wedding vows all folded up inside.
Nice.
So clarification question real fast from Jessie. So she's the one that asked if FBA and profit at the same time. She meant to type, can you see merchant fulfilled profit and FBA profit at the same time?
No, that would be cool though to see both side by side. Right now you have to switch back and forth.
We do have ideas for that, but yeah.
Yeah, so if you drop us an email, info@scoutiq.co, that'd be cool. Okay, legality, we'll get past that. Advice on sorting through old books, no ISBN, no barcode, what to look for. Your best bet is probably the cover search / titles page search with the Amazon Seller app. You can actually look it up on there and you can see the rank and the lowest price just from the main screen. It does take a few taps to bring up your camera every time, but that's a decent option to go through and try and find the right book. You could do a title search with Scout IQ. You could try the OCR feature. It's not perfect. Or you could do speech to text and do the title that way, and oftentimes you'll find it. Scout IQ will bring up all the results if there's multiple. It's harder to find. There's often multiple listings just because the catalog's not very clean when there's no ISBN. So we don't do a lot of collectibles. I probably miss money, and I know that Matt, Mina, if you're out there, I know that you're busting my hump a lot about passing over collectible books. You're absolutely right, but I'm a data guy. I'm just going to go through books as fast as I can, and I know I'm leaving money on the table when it comes to collectibles, but I got to pick what's the best use of my time. Any other questions? We're getting to them. If you have questions, drop them, and we're going to keep scrolling through and see what we got.
Yeah, so let me scroll back up here. So Eddie says, I'm having some issues with scaling. I'm on the fence to whether buy a bigger vehicle, a Ford Transit, in order to bring in more raw inventory, or upgrade my current warehouse space to a larger one. I'm currently running out of space in the unit, as well as just with 1 week's worth of books to pick up. So if you invest in a truck to bring in more inventory, but you're already at your peak with where you're taking the inventory to, it seems like a problem right there.
Yeah, so business is a game of limits. Not what is that? Not trigonometry. What's the calculus? It's kind of like calculus. Business is calculus. We're going to get into math. So you're going to run into limits. Most people think that your business scales like this. You know, it's just a straight line, and if you work harder, you make more money, or at some point it maybe just takes off and goes up logarithmically or exponentially. That's not necessarily a thing. Business actually grows, plateaus, maybe shrinks, grows, plateaus. And so you're running into limits. So Eddie, we met at Greg's event, but I think you've been to one of the Turn the Page too as well. He's got some awesome clear glasses, super cool dude. Hello Kitty dealer on Instagram. Ask him about that story. That's kind of weird, but very, very recognizable. Eddie's doing a deal. I hope you don't mind me sharing, but I know that you run around and you do free book pickups in the area, kind of junk collection services, and he's kind of built a pretty good thing. I think you're out on the East Coast, New York, if memory serves me correctly. So he's running into issues where he's filling his van too many times, filling his storage unit too many times, and he's reaching the point where he can only handle, 1,000 books a week or whatever it is, or 1,000 square feet. Yeah. So I don't know which one you want to figure out, Eddie. That's awesome that there's so many books, so that's pretty cool. But sorry, I got distracted. Bill Martlink is on the phone. What's up, Bill? He says BlueStacks is a good emulator to use. So Bill's a cool dude as well. He's with Sell Back Your Book. If you guys are bulk sellers, reach out to him. He can help you out. He's got some ways to buy books that you probably can't sell. But yeah, I don't know, Eddie. As far as the scaling question, what you should do next, I would try and clean up the back end so you have enough listers in place to handle the inventory and get it out. Kind of like sewage problem. Garbage in, garbage out. If you've got a backup in the pipes, you can't just keep running more stuff down your toilet because it's already backed up. So you got to figure out, sorry for the sewage analogy, but you got to figure out how to deal with the books that are already in your storage unit, whether that's more listers, a bigger space, I'm not sure. You'll have to figure that one out. Again, these are good problems to have.
Taking cost to account and everything else. Yeah, both those options.
Or one thing we don't like to talk about because it's not sexy, is your business big enough? Is your current vehicle and your current warehouse space big enough that you can reach your goals? Whether your goals are 50 grand a year in net profit, 100 grand, whatever your target is. If you're hitting that, bigger isn't always better. We always like to think it is, that kind of we get stuck in the American dream of more is better. I've been saying this a lot lately, but more is not better. More is just more. So if you're good, if you can reach your goals, whether it's 50 grand a year in net profit and you're there, taking on more won't make you any happier. You might make more money, but you're also going to have more headaches, more overhead, etc. So you have to analyze that in your own business, Eddie, but drop me a line. I'm happy to talk with you on that. I'd try and figure out a way to list more books out of there. And then if you're able to kind of clean that up and you can just keep dumping more into the funnel, then upgrade the truck or get 2 or 3 or 4. A couple other questions. What does it mean? They said Scoutify. I think they mean Scout IQ shows a gray header. That means you don't have triggers for that specific book or sales rank or category. So you may need to go into the web portal, app.scoutiq.co, or from the triggers page, there's a link actually to go edit your triggers from the phone. You can go in there, make sure you have triggers set up for the category or the ranks that you're doing. Here's a good one. Maybe. Someone else says they found jewelry. Man, you guys are dropping lots of comments. I'm trying to keep up and go in here. All right, legality of finding stuff. When getting books for free, what ranks will you send books into Amazon? I'll send in almost any rank, especially if the book is still relevant. You can use the stock triggers with Scout IQ. That's pretty much my guidelines. You can change the profit values, but the rank and what price we're looking at, there's a lot of science behind it. I'd probably leave that alone. My basic rule is if it's under 1.5 million, under 2 million, then I pretty much look at the FBA offers that use buy box because that's important. I think once you're above 1.4, 1.5 million, I think the buy box becomes deleveraged and you should be looking at the lowest merchant fulfilled price. Again, it's not an exact science, but somewhere in there, if a book is $10 merchant fulfilled and the rank's $500,000, the e-score is great, and the prime price is 30, that's probably realistic. Someone will pay that, and so I pay attention to that. If the book is $5 million, same issue, $10 merchant fulfilled, $30 prime. I don't think you're very likely to get a $30 prime bump if it's only selling once or twice every 6 months. So basically, once it gets above, let's call it 2 million, 3 million, somewhere in there, I'm looking at merchant fulfilled only, and then I'm going to still send it in prime typically. And then the basic rule is 10 times sales rank. So if rank is 3 million, I need it to be selling for $30 merchant fulfilled before I send it in. 5 million, $50. And then really I have a pretty hard cutoff at 6, 7, 8 million, unless it just looks really unique or there's no listings on it, then I might snag it. What else we got? Found you from Romer, found him from Rakin. Cool. Love how the community just kind of has a little bit of a flywheel there. Keep a chart. Do I price around peak of the spike or where the drop ends at? So we are right in the middle of textbook season. We probably should have mentioned that. We look a little happier, a little tireder because we're still listing books. Textbook season is awesome, where you feel like $1 million. So the biggest week of textbooks is probably this week. Next week should also be very, very high. And we should see a pretty high demand for books through the middle of September. Some books, as supply drops off, the price actually goes way up in the middle of September because everybody ran out of stock. And so if you're willing to be patient and wait, a lot of your books will go way up. Some books, the opposite happens. Rent U comes on the listing, bigger sellers. Maybe there's not as much demand as last year. And so counterintuitively, the demand is way up, but people are dropping price like crazy. And sometimes that does happen on textbooks where it races to the bottom. It's a good buying opportunity if you're willing to buy when they get really low. But sometimes people are rushing over, stumbling over each other to get the next sale. So the demand is really, really high, August 1 to September 15. Prices spike usually mid-August to mid-September, although that does depend on the book. So that's something to keep in mind. Someone asked too, why is Keepa being removed from the apps? Oh, I just won an iPhone X. Got a nice spam email showing up. That's cool. Why is Keepa being removed? I think Amazon and Keepa are having a little bit of a tizzy. So if you guys are familiar, Keepa started charging, 3 months ago?
About that, yeah.
So what happened is
$17 a month.
Camel's server, Camel, the other app that tracks prices and historical deals. Camel's servers basically fireballed, imploded. They had some issues. I think they lost their data. Keepa capitalized on that and said, hey, we're the only game in town. We've got data. And they started charging overnight. They put a paywall, and if you wanted to see the rank on their price history charts, you had to start paying, I think it was 15 euros, 12 euros. I think it was like $17 a month, US dollars.
17 is
They're based out of Germany. Don't quote me on that. They're in Europe somewhere. And so they started charging overnight. I don't blame them. It's great data. However, Amazon terms of service say you can't mine Amazon's data, store it, and sell it. You can't monetize it. It's their data. So Amazon has been probably trying to push back on Keepa, probably because they're in Germany. They're not being as successful as they'd like. So they've now started going after developers saying, hey, if you're using our data, if you're using companies that vend or sell the data, just like a vending machine, then we could remove your access to the API. So you've seen a couple of the bigger companies jump out of the way and pull that out. There's some workarounds where you can do some custom links. We're going to be doing the same thing. We're trying to upgrade our backend. We use React Native. We're trying to upgrade to the most recent version right now. That's going to help us move faster. So that's been slowing us up. It's a lot of technical debt that we're cleaning up, but we'll probably be removing it as well. Amazon hasn't reached out to us. I don't know that they will. I don't know if it's exactly spelled out in the terms of service. We have read them, and it does appear that that's why Keepa's being removed from these apps, or at least defeatured. So look for other companies to be doing that. We'll probably jump on that bandwagon as well because, again, Amazon Sandbox, we just
better
play
be
it.
safe than sorry, yeah.
Yep. Just sold a book, Merchant Fulfilled. The person lives 5 minutes away. Should I drop it off? No. That's creepy. Or does Amazon really need that tracking info?
Just send them a message. That's your front door, ...
Yeah. We've got someone
Leave it
scanning
there.
books right now, too. In the background, we got a textbook 290 number. That's cool. Don't, JB Flips, don't hand deliver that. That's creepy. It's weird. Don't do that. Just ship it. And the tracking number is pretty important as well. My sales soared after becoming eligible for Buy Box. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Is there any way around having a credit card on the Amazon seller account? Used to have debit card, but Amazon won't accept it. I don't know if you can do direct deposit. I think they can do that, but credit card is obviously their preferred method. Sorry if you're a Dave Ramsey fan, but get the credit card if you're able to. Matthew, any other questions while I'm pulling up stuff on YouTube?
Yeah,
keep the questions coming. We'll keep yakking for another 15, 20 minutes.
So
guys.
Christian has an interesting view on the MF discussion we're talking about.
Yeah,
He
let's
said
hear that.
It'll definitely increase your feedback, but there's also a chance to get negative feedback. You won't be as secure as selling FBA books, which is true. A lot more of those feedback can go on you. You can't push it back on Amazon and ask for it to be removed. But feedback will help, whether it's good or bad. He said you'll get more feedback, which is probably true. It's definitely a valid point there.
Yeah, I know that the benefit that we're trying to get after is time to your first sale. So we're trying to make that faster, decrease the learning curve. and then try and handwrite notes to get feedback. I guess you could handwrite notes in your FBA books too to ask for it. It won't be personal. You can't put the buyer's name. You don't know who that's going to be.
Is that still against the one?
It might be again. Research the terms of service.
Yeah, check it out. That might be an FBA against it, but it might not be.
But again, as long as you're promoting Amazon and trying to make the good customer experience, Amazon usually sides with you. But that was Christian from Latin Pickers.
Yeah.
Saw they just shipped out like 7 to 10 pallets. Good work, guys.
Nice
They're
work.
crushing it in the bulk space as well. So go follow them, Latin_Pickers on Instagram. Good dudes.
Brian Fisher says, I started listing my own collection merchant fulfilled. I was hooked from the first sale. So yeah, it's exactly what we're talking about right there.
Sweet. Is that feedback tip for MF? Yeah. You can also cross-list books on Merchant Fulfilled. So Hemo Hustles or Hector is saying cross-list vintage books on Merchant Fulfilled. One of the other benefits of Merchant Fulfilling is you can, because it's on your shelf, you can sell that on multiple platforms at the same time. So there's software out there that'll do it. I know NitoScan, some other software, maybe Joe Lister. You can look up cross-listing Merchant Fulfilled items. You can list on Amazon, eBay. There's like 20 plus platforms out there. Mercari maybe. Half.com's gone. Alibris. I'm blanking on some of the other ones, but Amazon and eBay are the big ones for sure for books. And then that's an option. You can try and find other buyers that are looking there as well. Started eBay, made the transition to Amazon a lot easier. Yeah, you're used to it as well. What else we got? I would love to go Merchant Fulfilled with a big operation, but if I can do FBA and provide for my family, my time is priceless. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Again, more is not better. More is just more. So being able to set up a huge operation, unless you love the systems and hiring local people, and you want to have a warehouse space or a location, man, freedom that you can get from FBA is really where it's at. I've never found anything of value. We were talking about finding books or jewelry. Most of the books I source bring me cash, yeah, but not directly, not in the book. 3 packs of uncirculated dollar coins inside a book valued at $60. That's pretty cool. Any other questions on?
Yeah, someone wants to know, how do you send in a 90-pound encyclopedia set to FBA? It's only a 50-pound limit.
So you can only send 50 pounds in a box. If you go over, Amazon will slap your wrist. You have to kiss Jeff Bezos' ring and apologize. If you do it,
never do it again.
If you do it multiple times, they need to have a good plan of action. How you're going to hire 6 people to scan it or weigh it independently. It gets kind of crazy, and they'll start charging you. They're really protecting their employees. So you can't send boxes over 50 pounds, except if it's a single set. So if it's a single SKU, like an encyclopedia set, you can send it in one box. It can be over 50. I think it still has to be under, don't quote me, under 75. Look it up. And you can say, single SKU.
Team lift.
You have to say team lift, heavy, follow Amazon's rules. You can do that. And then you want to say sold as a set, do not separate as well, so they don't open it and try and distribute your books onto the warehouse. That's an option. I think if you have way more than that, you can actually put it in multiple boxes and say like set 1 of 1, 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3. But or you can merchant fulfill that if it's too crazy, because that's going to be a nightmare to send in. But sets, don't sleep on sets. There's some really valuable sets out there as well. Do you have to take your own pics and write your own description with Merchant Fulfilled? Nope. You can use Amazon's data. You can list it just like you would on the regular listing. That's a nice perk of Amazon versus eBay. You don't have to take pictures. They're already there. You could take a picture to have your listing stand out, but I don't think it's worth the effort. So that's something else that you can be doing as well. What other questions do we have? I have over 44 pallets left over from a bulk Gaylord buy. So you bought a whole truckload. Any suggestions on recyclers? Shane, depends on where you're located. You can reach out. Unfortunately, there's not very much data, or not very much scrap rate right now for paper. China stopped taking it. The market's kind of dropped out. It's going to be hard to find someone that will pay you for it. Someone will take it, either for free or maybe you have to pay a little bit. Depends on where you're at. I have some good contacts on the East Coast that may be able to help you. And again, one truckload, they'll take it, but they're not as interested. They like lots and lots and lots of paper. Would scouting for someone else for 20% lowest FBA price instead of selling myself be lucrative? Maybe. If you really need the cash, yeah. Otherwise, you probably want to do it yourself. The money now and no FBA fees, not having to list, ship, and price. Yeah, if you got someone that's willing to do that, that's a decent option. If you don't want to figure out the Amazon game, if you just want to get paid right away, sure.
Yeah, that fits your goals and what you're trying to do.
You'll make more
Definitely.
money doing it yourself, but it'll take longer. It'll take more cash. You'll have to figure out Amazon, etc. This is a good question. Will you be adding an option to incorporate offer count or number of offers into the triggers? At this point, no. We actually did a very in-depth analysis. We had a mathematics department in Slovakia, because that's the best math. Actually, my brother is a math professor in Slovakia. So we were able to tap into his math department, and we actually ran some statistical analysis over really large data sets on Amazon. We looked at Prime Bump, does the number of offers impact the price, the Prime Bump, etc. And it really doesn't. Number of offers has really no impact on the Prime Bump and Prime pricing. So at this point, we have no plans to implement a number of offers trigger because it's a meaningless data point. If we can prove that incorrect, then that might be something that we add. But at this point, if there is a Prime Bump, great, you can take advantage. If the e-score is good enough, sales velocity plays a much bigger role, at least from the data that we've analyzed, than number of offers. How do you send it FBA and list it MF? You do one or the other. Once you ship it FBA, you can't sell it MF anymore, so that's something you can't do. What should my price competitiveness ideally be in Seller Central? I'm around 89%. I think that's pretty healthy. You'd have to research what that actually means. There's some other software that'll tell you how often you have the buy box. I think that's probably a more important metric, etc. When is eScore showing up for DVDs, CDs, and games? We are actually calculating, we're storing and tracking that. So we probably need a couple months yet, but that's something that we're storing. We'd like to add those into our database as well, but the majority of you are booksellers, and we're trying to add more features for you rather than add out for DVDs and CDs. That's one of the there's only so many hours, so many development dollars we can spend. And so at this point, we're focusing on OCR, team mode, some of the things for all sellers, and then trying to add some of the eScore and database stuff back in. So we haven't lost sight of it. It's just been bumped down the old priority list a bit. Is it possible for Scout IQ to do what Keepa does? We do have all the historical data. We don't rely on Keepa. Stay tuned. We might be doing something there. Any tips on scaling to 10 grand net profit per month, FBA only? Find more books. So, and that sounds
List
cheesy.
more books, find more books.
Find
list
more books. This is very true. So there's two thoughts. We'll maybe leave you with these. If you have other questions, drop them. Otherwise, let us know there. But two thoughts on that. Basically, Matthew and myself and anybody watching, if you come into a room, there's a giant pile of books. We all have the same skill sets, roughly. We can all take that pile of books, list it on Amazon, Merchant Fulfilled, FBA, I don't care. We can list them online and turn that pile of books into money. Now, maybe you're a little smarter than we are at repricing. Maybe you can price them just a little better. Maybe you can improve the condition. I don't think it matters. Maybe
List
you
a
can.
little faster.
Maybe you can optimize. Maybe you can make a little more money off that pile of books than we can. But at the end of the day, that pile of books is worth $5 grand, right? So I could turn it into $5 grand. You could turn it into $5,500. Sally could turn it into $4,500. But at the end of the day, those books are worth a certain amount of money. So you can spend all your time optimizing. We talk about the funnel. So you got books that come in the top of the funnel, and then your system is what eventually prints money out the bottom. You can spend all your time optimizing that funnel, trying to figure out how to list 55 books an hour instead of 45, or bump it up to 200 books an hour. You can do all that. The most important use of your time typically is going to be to find more books. Because if you can pour more books into the top of the funnel, unless you're like Eddie and you've got your storage unit maxed out, then you might need to optimize your funnel, the back end. But your best use of your time is finding books. So where do you find books? This is where the other two binary decisions come from. You can either find a market or you can create a market. What do I mean by that? You can find a market, find something on Facebook Marketplace, find a garage sale, find books on Amazon, use eFlip to buy on Amazon, resell on Amazon. You could buy on eBay. You can go to an advertised library sale. You can find a market that already exists and the books are already listed for sale. All you have to do is show up and pay the asking price or haggle, right? So that's a market that already exists. That's great. The problem there is anybody with a smartphone is your competitor. Anybody that can download the Seller Central app, Scout IQ, anybody that can do that is your potential competitor, and pretty much everybody has a smartphone. So if you want to go upstream, find ways to get creative, you can go to the markets, that's great. What you want to do instead of finding one is you want to create a market. So Hemo Hustle, shout out to him, Hector Mora. He's been doing an awesome job with this.
Yeah.
He's been building websites for himself in his own neck of the woods. I think it's iwantyourbooks.com. And he's been doing that in his area, and then running ads, putting Facebook posts, Craigslist posts, and people are now calling him and saying, hey, I was going to donate these, I was going to put them on the market, but I saw that you're creating a market. Will you come take my books for me? Will you come pay me for my textbooks? Whatever it may be. So the option to go create a market, and you can do that by asking for backroom access to a thrift store, find a library. Do you guys sell online? Do you guys want me to help partner with you? Find books that don't exist on a marketplace yet. That's where the real money can be had, is if you can be the one to create that market. So that long roundabout answer to say yes, you can get 10 grand, you can build that up. If you want, do you know the quickest way to find this? Maybe the 100bookchallenge.com. We put a spreadsheet together where you can plug in your buy cost, average list price, turn rate. And so there's actually a really pretty decent formula to figure out. If you want to net 10 grand a month, you could actually plug variables into the sheet and figure it out. Back of the napkin math, if you sell $20 books, Amazon's going to pay you 12 after fees, give or take based on weight. If you paid $2 a book for those, every $20 book that you sell is roughly worth 10. So if you want to make 10 grand profit, we're not going to factor in mileage, software costs, etc. Just cost of goods, sales. You need to sell 1,000 books a month. If you want to sell 1,000 books a month, you pretty much need to have, you're going to sell 20% of your books every month, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. If you want to sell 1,000 books a month, you need to have 5,000 books in inventory. So if you can build up your inventory, that's going to be the part that takes time, money, capital, etc. If you can build up your inventory to 5,000, and then you're selling 1,000 books a month at $20 a piece, and your buy cost is $2, give or take, that's going to net you 10 grand a month. And all you have to do is replenish. You need to find 1,000 a month, find 250 books a week. You'll be selling what you're replenishing, and your inventory will stay roughly at 5,000. And that's kind of back of the napkin math for that.
Yeah, the100bookchallenge.com. If you throw your email in there, it takes you right to the page. You can download that spreadsheet for free. If you've already put your email in there before, don't worry about it. You won't get all the emails again. It'll just take you straight to that page. You can download the spreadsheet he's talking about for free. And yeah, put the math in there and see kind of what your goal is and figure out what you want to be finding each week.
Perfect. Yeah, on the DVDs, CDs, it says, thanks, man. I just got ungated on DVDs, CDs. eScore would be helpful. Awesome.
Nice.
It's a great category. Books are easy. It's not really a gated category other than textbooks or popular textbooks starting off. Or if you get in trouble, then sometimes you can lose that. Go where other people won't. So I tell people in thrift stores, go to the top shelf, the bottom shelf, ask for backroom access. The more you do things that people won't do, type in ISBNs, the more likely you are to be successful. You got to show up, you got to put the work in, and you got to listen and be attentive and learn. But the more you do things that other people won't, maybe that's other categories, maybe that's asking for books that don't exist necessarily. Those are things that you can be doing as well. How often should I download the new database? As often as you'd like. We update it right now once a day. We're going to be moving to twice a day very shortly. We're automating that pipeline, so it'll be on the clock. We'll give you the exact time, so if you want to download those, you can once we lock it in. We'll have it twice a day. Most of you that we talk to download it, before going out scouting. Please don't, if there's a library sale at 3 o'clock today, please don't start downloading it at 2:30. Do it the night before. Do it the morning of. If your internet's bad, if you're in a bad area and you don't have great cell service, don't do that to yourself. Make sure you plan ahead. But most people download it. A lot of you do it once a day. Some of you do it 2 or 3 times a week. I'll download it today. I'm going to a library, big bookstore sale. Again, if you're joining late, Avery Romer and I, Romer the Romer, will be in Philadelphia starting tonight all the way through next week. We're going to be buying out a bookstore with 300,000 books. So we'll let you know how that goes. If you're in Philly, want to meet up, we'll be hanging out, grabbing beers, grabbing coffee. We might put you to work. We will put you to work. Come join us in Philly. That'd be cool. What was I saying? Yeah, so I'll download tonight before I go out, before I fly out to Philly. I'll probably not update the rest of the week because that data is going to be accurate enough. Again, there's always a lag between when you send it into FBA. So I won't download every day. If I have, we have eScore, we've got the current prices. Prices do change, but not like crazy. A $50 book doesn't turn into a $5 book overnight. It does in rare cases, but the market will push that back up. So I'll download tonight, and that'll get me through next week. Okay. Meow Marin says, mine only takes 5 minutes to download. You've got some awesome internet. Sweet. any planned improvement to the ISBN entry box, cursor, insert, etc. We do want to make it where you don't have to press and then hit paste. If you just force push, it'll just paste whatever you got. That'd be an option.
Yeah.
The keyboard is custom and it's not as robust. I hate that word, but it's true. It's not as robust as your regular keyboard, but that's because we have to listen for a Bluetooth scanner. So yeah, definitely some room to improve there, but we're doing there. I will join y'all if I can have 5 beers. If you want to buy your beers, you can have all the beers you like.
Want to bring beers?
We'll even put you in an Uber so you don't get yourself in trouble. All right, any last questions? Going once, going twice?
Don't this. Does IPI affect used buy box eligibility?
I don't think IPI affects it, although so IPI is inventory performance
Index.
It needs to be above 350. If it's under that, you need to clear out your stranded inventory. That's one of the biggest culprits. You can go in and delete old listings that have sold. That's not that big of a deal. We have hundreds of thousands probably hundreds of thousands of old listings that we haven't deleted.
I've never deleted a listing.
That's not killing your IPI. It's, are you selling books that you have in there? If you're getting hit with long-term storage fees and you've got a lot of old inventory that's not moving, that's going to hurt you. And if you have stranded inventory that you're not taking care of, that's going to hurt you.
Yeah, I had a bunch of books randomly from an error on Amazon go stranded in my inventory like overnight and drop my IPI below that acceptable limit. The funny thing is, the amount of inventory I could send in did not change. It was still unlimited, and none of my buy box qualifications were taken away. As soon as I fixed that error, it went back up to where it was before, and so at least in my experience, when I dropped below that threshold, nothing happened. So I can't guarantee that's the same for you, but nothing happened on my account when it dropped temporarily.
Yeah, so I don't think it'll hurt buy box. It will just limit your ability to send in more inventory. I think they update it every quarter. And so I think at the end of September is the next metric. So you could be under 350 right now as long as you get it over 350 by September, 30 days after September, so by September 30th. So, all right. We're going to be respectful of your time. It's been an hour. Thanks for being here. We love you all. Much love from Denver, from our office. Swing by if you're ever in town. You can view our beautiful, lovely orange wall. It actually came this way. We did not paint it, but it is pretty cool for Scout IQ. Thanks for being here, and on behalf of Matthew and myself, we will catch you next time.
See you guys later.